testosterone, we have a problem.
This is Outside the Manosphere, where two guys grow their bromance,
non-toxic bromance,
their non-toxic bromance, by exploring masculinity, manosphere culture, and joy in the stupidest timeline.
Join us.
Welcome to Outside the Manosphere. I'm Skip.
And I'm Carlos.
Our main topic today is red flags, but we will say something about Pride Month because we realized we've been ignoring it. Sorry. But first, what's your news item for the day?
That's a new feature we have available to us that I think I'm going to be playing with, probably to your chagrin. But my news item for the week is Canada has just announced I don't think it's been submitted yet, but they're going to submit a bill to restrict teenagers under 16 from using social media. And it's super, the specifics of it all are just not public yet, and they haven't ironed out the details, but they're kind of using Australia as a model. And I'm here for it. I think it's something that these kids are fucking killing themselves and stuff from dealing with these social media. So yeah, that's like I said, they haven't worked out the details yet, but I'm glad that that's happening. Hopefully it'll start a trend. There is a caveat to it that they're going to make it illegal for kids under 16 unless they make these platforms safe for children, which is, I don't know how they can make those safe for kids. Yeah, but sure. So I see it on the horizon. It's going to be illegal. And kudos to the liberal government, because they're in a position of power right now because they have a majority government here. And rather than staying safe, they're using their position to do something that's potentially pretty unpopular. Luckily with people that can't vote. But just that sort of restriction, I think, might ruffle some feathers who feel like this is a personal freedom or whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's my news item. What's going on with you?
Yeah. So first, I was actually just listening to a little news item about the Australia ban and how that's working out. And obviously, older kids are really, they find ways around it if they want to. There's VPNs and stuff like that. But one of the things they said was the long term, they think that it's going to be beneficial to the kids that are just aging into that, where the parents are able to keep them off of it rather than trying to wean them off of it now.
Right.
The kids that are aging in, that's where it's going to have a great effect. But it's super hopeful to think about the kids that are aging up and the parents that are able to, more and more of them kind of holding this line and having less peer pressure on kids to jump into all these unhealthy things. So that's really rad.
They're normalizing not having social media.
Yeah, which is so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, so mine is actually from The Guardian, and it is a report by the World Inequity Lab. And, this is basically it's a plan, because there's so many things that are so bad in the world right now, with, inequity and sustainability, climate change, all that stuff. And it really does seem kind of untackleable in many ways, especially, climate change and inequity, inequality with just the poor versus the rich and whatever. But these guys came up with a comprehensive plan, not one that they think will get enacted or anything, but a comprehensive plan of how things could work to fix the climate, have greater equity, ease political extremism. So just kind of a roadmap for the best possible case scenario, which we're not going to do. But just even seeing a path forward is really nice and hopeful.
It's nice that someone's trying is what I wanted to say. It's nice to see that there's actually people thinking about the issue rather than just kind of moving through life without a plan.
Well, and it's so important for people that do feel like it's hopeless to say no, there's ways that we could fix this. It's not impossible that these things could be fixed. It's not going to happen with the current systems, but that just shows you, okay, we need to change the current systems. We need to, it kind of points you in a hopeful direction. because it gives people sort of a guiding light, which is just really nice.
It's kind of how I felt when we first had our interview with Matt Capeless and Peter Fisher regarding what they're doing for the Manosphere. Like, it just really hadn't occurred to me that there's actually groups of people, educated people, and people who are just like on the ground, actually doing stuff about this. The other thing that you reminded me about was, when there's everything in the news is negative and it seems insurmountable. Every now and then I'll remember that this isn't the first time it's been this way in the history of humanity. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the 60s and the way people had to fight for the right to vote, to go into public spaces, to be integrated into schools with other people, and the anger and the vitriol from one side or the other, and attack dogs and over policing, and it was just an ugly time. Or women in the 20s when they were pushing to vote, the pushback against them, and just even with like what was happening in Germany in the early 30s, like, this is not the worst it's ever been. It's probably not the worst it's going to be, and everything levels out. Now, I know that that's maybe dismissing sort of the generational like trauma and like the mess that needs to be cleaned up afterward, but like, things will get better. Things are gonna right themselves at some point, and I don't know, just remembering that is always hopeful for me as well. Climate change is another thing. Like, that's existential, but
well, yeah, it is existential, but we have faced ecological problems before. Like, I mean, like you were saying, back in the 60s and 70s, like the fucking Erie River, the Erie Canal was on fire. It was so polluted. Shit was really bad. And we've had the ozone, which we fixed. Like, when the world decides to get together and fix something, we actually, like, humanity can do some pretty fucking incredible things. We're not there. And I don't know if I'm as confident that we will turn things around, but it's possible,
Yeah.
We got to ditch some of these fucking losers that are at the top, though.
Yes, that's true. I mean, we might have to eat shit before it gets fixed again. But when I say we, I mean the United States. But yeah, you reminded me also about the ozone layer. Like, that was a big fucking deal growing up, man. That was like, the ozone layer, that was ubiquitous. Like, that's all you heard about was the ozone. And now you don't hear anything about it. Like, it's
no, it's like basically healed.
I mean, they punch a hole through it every time they go up into space, but like, it heals itself right away. It's not like this scary thing that it was when we were growing up, because it was all over the place. Well, I think that's all we have for news items.
You can use this, I can tell.
I am absolutely just I got to get my fill just maybe for this episode. All right, Skip. Well, before I introduce our red flag of the day, I have a question that is related, and I want to know, what did your last serious relationship teach you about yourself? I know that was some time ago. You've been with Jess for a long time.
Yeah, shit. Jeez. My last serious relationship.
Okay, you know what? Let me amend that question. What was maybe one of the greatest lessons you've learned from a relationship that it wasn't Jess?
Yeah, I would say that, because I've talked about this before, like my first relationship and exiting that, and I still had a lot of ways to go, but I learned, like, not to just kind of unbridledly let my emotions go and run over me. And that was, and I think that's a lesson that I ended up having to learn multiple times in different forms. After my bad marriage, I had to learn to, like, there were lessons that I already knew that I forgot, that I'm
right.
like, yeah, I gotta, like, pay it. It was, honestly, I had to pay attention to the red flags in the other person in that case, because I just blew past him and was like, love can conquer all. And it's like, no, I don't even know if this person's capable of the kind of love that I want ultimately. But no, the original one, like, I just, I went way too fast, way too hard, and I was just committed. Like, that first love, you don't ever think it's going to end. It's so powerful. It's so different from anything you've ever had before. And just, like, slowing things down, and I didn't slow things down a ton, but I did find somebody else that was, like, in it with me at least, and trying to go a little slower. So that was better.
As much as you're willing to share, in your bad relationship, I guess was your marriage, your
Yeah.
previous marriage, was that like a two to tango situation, or would you say this was like more in your court, more in her court? Like, what was what soured?
Well, so to put things into context, this is a person that when I got together with her, kept telling me she was a monster and she was a terrible person and that I was going to learn to hate her. And I was in a place where I had just finished my walk across America and I was like, humanity is great, even though I knew that not all of humanity was great. And I was just like, no, it's fine. And I kind of fell back into this place where I was like, oh, everything's going to be okay. You just need love or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I've learned before this that like you don't like relationships don't fix people. And like she kept telling me, I like to give her full credit. She kept telling me she was horrible and that she was like she'd been in an asylum, like lots of things. And I basically blew right through all the stop signs. And I to the point where like friends even tried to warn me. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I just kept going. But that was like the worst relationship I've ever had, period.
Yeah.
And it didn't last. I mean, for something that ended in a marriage, it did not last for a tremendously long period of time. Like once it kind of became apparent that things were really rough, it was short lived.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
When you said that even your friends were trying to intervene, it reminded me of what I remember, like the one volatile relationship that I had, and it was a bad one. I
Yeah.
remember, like, it was bad when I made this decision. I remember telling my friend, "Oh yeah, me and so and so we're gonna move into an apartment together," and he was like my best friend at the time, and he goes, "Why?" So yeah, I blew through some red flags as well. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can relate. So, but
Yeah.
so I asked you all these questions because our red flag of the day is a person who has a history of turbulent relationships, and where every former partner is described as "quote unquote" crazy, or the problem was entirely that
Yeah.
person's fault. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was kind of. I mean, I've known quite a bit about. We've just from what we've talked about. I've known quite a bit about your dating history. You've known quite a bit about mine, I think, and so I knew the answer. I already know you're a great guy, Skip. I already know this
Aw,
isn't
thanks.
a red flag of yours, but I don't know. Have you ever dated a woman who was like, "Oh, all my exes are insane," or he did this to me, or this happened to me, and this
Yeah,
is what?
that
Yeah,
the person I was just talking about, my ex,
yeah.
she was like, "Oh, this," and you know, I came to learn different perspectives that the guy she had been with before was a bad guy, but also things were twisted a bit in the retelling. But no, most of I would say the vast majority, but that makes it sound like I've dated so many women. Um, I would say that like the long-term relationships that I had other than her have all been really good, where things tended to end because we really just shouldn't have been together. And like that first one when I was young, it was more dramatic than it needed to be because we were both young and out of control. But it wasn't like we didn't hate each other or anything. We weren't fighting or anything. It was just like emotional. And like the other ones, you know, it's not always like easy to break up, especially when things are pretty good. It's just like you don't belong together, and that can be real hard. But like, no, I think generally like most of the ladies that I've spent a long time with, I spent a long time with them because they were great, you know?
Right. No, same with me. Like I said, I had that one bad relationship, and she had. I mean, I understand why she kind of had some characteristics that were undesirable, I suppose, for me anyway. I mean, she has some legit trauma that she just had to deal with. But other than her, like all of my relationships were just fine. I mean, I never really had. In fact, I would go so far as to say that I was the reason. Well, I definitely was the reason because I broke up with them. Yeah, I mean, so as far as fault goes, I mean, there's always fault to go around. I'm sure it's the same thing in yours. If I ended a relationship, it was one because I didn't know how to maybe deal with an issue that I wasn't happy about in the relationship, and I just said, "Oh, fuck it, I'm out." Or I was just too immature, well, which is a sign of immaturity, or I was just too mature to be with one person. And I say, "Yeah, next person," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, like I haven't all the women that I've ever have spent time with have been great. I mean, they're wonderful people. I have really no complaints at all. Even the ones that I found. So I asked you, like, what were some of the lessons you learned about previous relationships? Like for me, the ones that taught me what I don't want, they were still
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
they weren't bad people.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think back and like I would put for the relationships that ended, I don't know that I'd have a lot of blame on either person. You know,
Mhm.
like if anything, I there were a couple cases where I felt I should have been more responsible and ended things earlier in some cases because it was like clear that it wasn't going to work out and we were just kind of like I don't know, dragging things along. Not that it was bad or anything, but like it went past where it probably should have like the apex point for it to be healthily
Yes.
ended, you know?
I get that. Yeah.
And like,
I've extended for years.
yeah,
Extended
yeah,
years past the apex.
yeah. And it wasn't like ever bad. It was just kind of like, oh, this isn't going to work out. And now like either we're dragging this on and one person's hoping when it's not going to work out, or like we're doing it because it's comfortable or whatever. But yeah, I feel that's the accountability and the problem that was around in those relationships. But mostly it was honestly like most of my relationships were pretty good. And I learned a lot about what I wanted in a partner and sometimes what I didn't, but like mostly just like things that I valued in a person. And I hope the same goes for the people that I was with, where like you're kind of this standard bearer for like, well, you've got to at least have some of these things, you know?
Right. Some of the skip things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you also as we were talking here, like I had this sort of revelation. Like one of the reasons I think I was so flighty in my relationships, and this is not what the red flags are all about, but it is a red flag, is that and I guess we kind of talked about it last time as well, is that I was very much, and I remain so with people that I interact with. Like I can code shift, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
I was very much like a chameleon in my relationships. So like I would adjust my interests and my personality and my behaviors to match theirs. And I think that's great for like establishing a connection, but I think it's a false connection. And I think to sustain that forever is just the beginning of the end of a relationship. And I think that's why I was like, yeah, I'm done now. And it's not that
Yeah.
I was ever pretending. I always enjoyed the companionship that they brought
Mhm.
and that I brought, I think. But like, yeah, you have to like, you have to be yourself, I think. And
Yeah.
I think, I just realized that that's part of my problem when I was younger. I was like, okay, let's do this. And I'm going to bend over backward to make this work.
Right.
And to be as fun and as amicable as possible. And yeah, I just don't think that's a sustainable thing.
So the red flag here is people that like always blame the other person in their past relationships. What's spell out the red flag for me?
So the red flag I'd say is when, okay, you're in a new relationship with someone and inevitably you start talking about your exes and it's never their fault. They're always, oh yeah, she did this to me or he did this to me. And we're talking about men in this case, but like
Never their own fault.
never their own fault. They were never
Yeah.
a contributor to the demise of the relationship.
Right.
They
Yeah.
this happened to them rather than there being a participant in the relationship. Yeah, and I guess it's kind of a test to see if they can be accountable in their
Sure.
own and in their own problematic behavior, if it's problematic. But at least as to why, like you said, it doesn't have to be problematic, but like you're just not a compatible pair, and
Yeah.
if you can't own up to that and accept that you're part of that issue, I think that's part of the red flag. Also, if they had like 5 shitty relationships and all of them
Right.
were not their fault, they were the victim in all of them. It's like, well, that's kind of okay. So this comedian, I don't know who it was. I don't think he really made it big, but I saw him on TV once. And it was kind of a sexist joke, but I'm going to tell it anyway. He said, if you're like 45 and you say that all men are scum, and he had this quiet moment, he's like, "It's you, baby." And I think that's kind of the same thing with. Well, it's definitely the same thing with
Yeah.
men. If you're like, "Oh, fucking women are crazy," and
Yeah.
you're in your 50s, 40s, whatever, and you're like, can't have a stable relationship. Well, you're actually the problem. If you think all women are crazy and you've come this far,
Yeah. No, you sound like the Manosphere right now.
hey, I'm including men in this.
No, that's what I mean. Like what you're saying. Like if you're like these people that are in their late 30s and 40s that are like, all women are crazy, all women are this. It's like, oh yeah, that's That's you. That's you. If you have a problem with everybody, you're the problem, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that strikes me about it, which is like, there's all these people in the manosphere that are like so alpha and so in control and all this stuff. And like to speak of all your relationships as if you were this passive victim is such a little bitch move, like you have no control over the situation. Like you had,
Right.
and we've talked about like overly control, but like to just completely abdicate any responsibility or degree of control that you had, like, come on, man. You weren't,
Yeah.
if you weren't a
I thought you were
passenger.
I thought you were a man. I thought you were driving this bus.
Well, it's just like an unadult thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
nothing, none of this belongs to me. It's all somebody else. And it's just like, that's just, I remember at one point you talked about just like the confidence of admitting when you don't know something. And like that being an attractive thing. I mean, admitting when you make mistake, admitting when you don't know something, like that you're not infallible. That's a very attractive and adult thing to be like, I have limitations and I'm self-reflective enough to be aware of some of them.
Right. And maybe it's related, but not really on point though, is that is such a freeing thing too, to be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. And I don't need to have an answer to that because I'm not an expert in this fucking field. You know what I mean? It's nice to be able to be like, that's a relief. I'm not going to be kicking myself for being stupid later on because I didn't know the answer to this question about rocket science that obviously I wouldn't know the answer to.
Yeah. No, you don't want to go too far because you end up with the other end of the spectrum where you're just that weaponized incompetence where you're just like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to wash the dishes. I don't know how to make rice.
I don't know how to wash the dishes. I'm just a little boy.
I don't know how to do these things because you like, that's just like the other end of the spectrum, right? Like,
Yeah.
I only know how to do man things.
Well, I guess the last sort of like leg of this red flag, I think, is that kind of behavior can be an indication of reputation management. So they're trying to control how they appear outwardly. And I think worse than that is if they establish, like, this was done to me in my past relationship, this was done to me in my other past relationship. If they can establish that and you as a partner will accept that they were the victim to this, that controls any arguments you have in the future. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're sounding like my ex, or you're trying to control me the way my ex did. And right or wrong, it's a weaponized past now. You know what I mean? They're saying, well, you're just like all the other ones that were trying to hurt me. You know what I mean? So I think the other ones could be, less, I don't know, troublesome because they can maybe learn, but when they're using it as a manipulation tool, I think that's like the brightest waving red flag of all. You got any green flags?
Green flags. Oh, I forgot to do a green flag. How about you start with you? You got any green flags?
Yes, I do. It's a simple one, but if your partner has hobbies outside of the relationship, I think that's extraordinarily important. It's a show of intelligence, it's a show of curiosity, and you don't have to be their sole source of entertainment, and they're not going to be nagging you necessarily for going out with your friends because they need to be entertained. Otherwise, they don't have anything to do when you're gone.
That's actually pretty close to the one that I had thought of earlier today, and I forgot to write down, but you reminded me of it, which is my green flag is when a guy is in a relationship and he actually encourages time with friends or family or alone time. Because that's like, we've talked a lot about like how guys are controlling and they want to know like where a woman is all the time and why she's not answering her text. But like being like, yeah, you should have other people in your life. You should go enjoy the things that you had before I got here. I don't want to be like the end of your life in all other aspects. So like, yeah, encouraging sort of like what you were saying, like hobbies, but like also those relationships with other people and making sure that, we got healthy stuff going on. Carlos, I know that you're not gay. You're not represented by Pride Month, but have you ever had relationships with gay guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've got several gay friends, I suppose. I say friends in quotations because I don't have a whole lot of friends, but I've got a lot of people that I've collected over the years. And many of them are gay. And in fact, as a paramedic, it's like silly with lesbians. There's a lot of lesbian paramedics.
Silly with lesbians is something that I'm going to try and fold into my vernacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I ask because to look at the manosphere, you'd think that it would be utterly impossible to be friends with a gay guy without being infected or harassed or taken advantage of. How is it possible that you have had gay friends and you're still such a manly heterosexual guy?
Well, I think it's because I was born a manly heterosexual guy, and I mean that's not really the argument anymore for homosexuality, that like it's a choice. But that was kind of the false narrative for a long, long time. It's a lifestyle choice. It's a preference. It's like, well, I asked a friend once. He was a Czech guy actually. We were having English lesson, and just for conversation, I was like, "When did you know you were gay?" And like, I felt stupid after I asked him that, because he was like, I just always was." There was not a moment for him where he was like, "Oh, I'm gay." He's like, "No, I was checking out, like, I think maybe I mentioned this before." He's like, "I was checking out like the dads in kindergarten." And, he was just always gay. So yeah, there's not a moment where they switch over, and you can't infect people with gay. You know what I mean? You're not going to influence somebody to be gay. So
I think there's still a lot of people out there, especially in America, that still think that way, though. I mean, they just re-legalized conversion therapy.
I
So,
know. Well, and what damage that does, man. Like, that's wild.
yeah, I mean, I brought this up in kind of a dopey way, but like, it really is kind of just this thing with the manosphere and men just not being able to be around, especially guys, but anybody that kind of has a different sexuality or anything like that. And it strikes me as so insecure that you think that another gay guy existing might somehow turn you gay or something. Like are you really worried? Are you worried that like you're gonna actually become gay? And if you were, would that be so bad if you like were gay? But also, like, are you worried that you're so attractive that they're not
That's
going to
it.
be able to control themselves and they're just going to ravish you and you'll be powerless to resist? Like,
Yeah.
what is the fear there? Why is there such fear? And I think you have the answer.
I have some hypocrisy here that AI and I came up with, mostly AI, of confirmed or self-acknowledged cases of public figures who were anti-LGBTQ plus or anti-gay marriage, or just a vocal critic of anything but heterosexual relationships, who turned out to be gay themselves, or in some way, queer or whatever. Just rapid fire here. This and big surprise, a lot of these are conservatives. In 2007, conservative Republican Senator Larry Craig, he opposed same-sex marriage and LGBTQ rights, and he was arrested at an airport for in a sting operation because he was, if I recall correctly, he was doing like the wide stance. He was sitting in a toilet and like putting his feet under the privacy wall to the next stall to indicate
A little tap tap.
Yes, to indicate he was DTF. He, I think, was arrested for that. Ed Schrock, I don't know who that guy is. He opposed same-sex marriage, and he withdrew from his re-election after recordings surfaced of him allegedly seeking sexual encounters with men through a phone service. Jim McGreevey, not known for gay activism, but he had operated as a conventional politician while concealing his sexuality, and he resigned in 2004, citing, "I am a gay American." Roy Ashburn voted against many LGBTQ rights. And then after being arrested in 2010 for a DUI charge, leaving a gay nightclub, he finally acknowledged that he was gay. Ted Haggard, led a major evangelical organization that opposed same-sex marriage. And these are some allegations in 2006 that he was involved with a male escort and that he used meth. He later acknowledged sexual misconduct. I mean, the list really goes on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's embarrassing that but it's really like an indication. You were saying earlier how conversion therapy has now been re-legalized. What, it was in Colorado or just nationwide? I can't recall anymore. But like, that's what it does. You talk the gay out of somebody and then you release them back into society and they're still gay. They didn't go away. They're just now in full denial, and it's going to manifest in its own way.
It's kind of just the lady doth protest too much, right? Maybe just like come to terms with the fact, like, you might be gay and that's okay. This is something that's like consenting adults. This is totally fine. No, yeah, I think that list is, far from extensive even. We've been seeing this for decades and decades where it's really just kind of a self-hatred thing. It's a big red flag when somebody's obsessed with what's going on in someone else's houses. It's because they can't stop fucking thinking about it. And like, just deal with that and kind of be okay with being yourself. Like, if you want to have a consensual relationship with another man or a woman, or a man that used to be a woman, or a woman that used to be a man, or two men, or, whatever kind of situation you want to do, as long as you're all adults and you're all consenting, like, what's the fucking problem? Like,
Well, I have an answer to that, dude. And the problem is that, and this isn't the answer, but like, this is the reason for their masked wishes or desires or whatever. Living here in New Brunswick, where it's like kind of Bible Belt, and Jody she grew up Baptist, very Baptist. Yeah, man. Like everyone in her circle of life was like this, anti-gay, a lot of stuff, and there's no room to be gay or to be yourself because one, it's a completely foreign concept other than the devil. And two, you're not going to have people who are understanding about it. It's going to be shameful. It's going to be a dark, like, family secret. There's going to be anger. There's going to be disowning,
estrangement.
Yes, there's going to be estrangement, and people just tuck that away. I mean, what are you going to do?
No, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, so I grew up in an interesting place in history for my family because my mom had 6 sisters and a brother, and 1 out of every 8 people is gay, and that was true in her family. But they were raised Catholic, so one of my aunts was gay, and she got excommunicated from the church, and she was not, I guess, not in contact with the family or parts of the family for a long time. But then when I was growing up, I think they were just kind of starting to heal that rift. And so I knew her and her girlfriend. I mean, like, it wasn't explained to me that they were girlfriends, but we'd go and, like, they had a little ranch with horses, and we'd go ride horses. And I was like, this is cool. I didn't even know which one I was related to. I just kind of assumed that I was related to both of them then. But it was like, a time where the whole family was overcoming that same block that you were talking about. And I wasn't really aware of that. So it was all, I grew up with this kind of normalization thing. And like, I always grew up around gay people and lesbians and kids now, like, they're the same. Like, if they grow up with like a gay uncle or a lesbian aunt or something, like, it's nothing, it's like, it doesn't,
Well,
it's not a problem. But I know that there are still communities where it is.
yeah,
That's what
I was going to say. Yeah, there's a weird blend here specifically because, like I said before, when there's so many lesbians as paramedics, there's also a lot of like right wingers as paramedics. So it's like this strange divide. Or I'll see teenagers walking around like and they're, I guess, trans. I'm not sure, but they're clearly like male dressed as females or vice versa, and it's disproportionate. Like, I don't know if it's a phase or if that's how they actually feel, but then there's also the ones that are like, oh no, this is super gay. This is gay and it's unacceptable kind of thing, So I don't know, man.
Well, I think with the youth, there's a large percentage that are just like, they understand that this whole spectrum of possibilities exists and is kind of okay. And they're just not inhibited to experiment in the same way that, like, even you or I was. Like, I had no problem with gay people or anything, but I didn't like experiment. I was just like, I'm not gay, and I just kind of like knew that, and I didn't really question it. And like, there were times where I'd think about it, I'd be like, I wonder if there is anything there. But like, I figured out, no, there isn't. But like, you have to kind of be okay or open to those things. And I think the younger generations are just so open that some young people legit are experimenting, and they will end up that they find it's not their identity.
Right. Right.
And I've definitely seen that like in working with kids, but it's like there's no harm done by like seeing, by like trying things out and figuring out who you are and what
Right.
makes you complete and happy.
Well, and that's
You
the
know?
fear, though. That's the fear, though, from the other side, is that they're like, well, it's so acceptable now that where they weren't considering their sexuality before, there's going to be a train of guys running on them now because they're
Mm,
open to the idea, and they're going to be in shame now for the rest of their lives because they're not gay, but they had sex with a bunch of dudes just trying to figure it out, or whatever. You know what I mean? But like that's the fear, is that they're gonna catch gay. You know what I mean?
yeah,
By
yeah,
by tinkering with it. But on the other side, it's like, well, some people who have those questions, they're just not sure like how they're feeling, realize, oh, I am that, and I
yeah,
would have never have known had I not had the
right.
freedom to check it out. You know what I mean? Period. Wait. That's a long. I could let that go on. All right, so I'm asking you this specifically because I have an answer for myself. Is there anything you're doing or changing about your world right now during Pride Month? Are you celebrating Pride Month in any way?
No, I'm not.
You're not going to go. You're going to go to the parade whenever Prague has one. It's a pretty neat one.
Well, yeah, no, we like to go to the parade. I'm not sure when it is. Like, it's not on my calendar, but we usually go because the Derby team usually goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also kind of just becoming like this whole crowded thing. So it's like, it's not as like you want to show support, but at the same time, it's kind of like a big hassle sometimes.
Yeah. People. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, no, but like huge, like
I
unreasonable
know.
crowds. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like agoraphobic, like with the fear of crowds and stuff, but it makes me uncomfortable. And with kids and stuff, it's not a problem with like what they're seeing. It's a problem with like the crowds, just like people wall to wall as a group of like four and one of you is very short. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. So
Yeah.
we like to go, but some years we abstain just because we're like, we support that community in lots of other ways throughout the year. So
Yeah. You should put the little guy on top of the big guy and have like a giant
yeah.
single kid.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, I'm not doing anything, but I've been waiting for. I had ordered them for my uniform for some time, and some people wear them all year long. And I sent you a picture before. So as a paramedic, we have epaulets on our shoulders, it's like those little sleeves that indicate who you are as a responder.
Yeah, the little like
And
rank stripes on your
yes,
shoulders.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah. In fact, you have stripes for your rank. Anyway, so there's a rainbow one. There's like 4 or 5, however many are in the Roy G. Biv. I guess seven colors on the on the epaulet now, and it's
It
the
was
full
very
colors.
pretty.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Like I
You
got
sent
it.
me a
And
picture. Yeah.
yeah. So it's cool to wear them. It's fun to wear them. Like I said, some people wear them year round, whether they're gay or straight. I like having it say paramedic, and I like the uniform. So I'm not going to wear them year round. I might, who knows? But like, it's cool to wear them at least for the month of June, and to be an ally for the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, that's my little contribution, and it's fun. Nice little bit of flair for my uniform.
Nice.
All right, Skip, we've reached our favorite point of this episode, and that is the joys of the week. What's your joy for this week?
I have 2 joys. For the last 2 weeks, I have been invited to and going to a pub quiz, which has been delightful. And the first week we won, just straight through, first place the whole way. And the second week we were first place for 3 of the 4 rounds and then took a miraculous dive. It was a beautiful, flaming, glorified crash. But it's been real fun. It's at like a pizza joint, and they've got real nice pizza. So I've been enjoying that.
Did you ever go to the one at the Globe? I think it was they would have it every Sunday night or something like that.
I think I went once over all the years, but there was also one at the check-in for a long time, and I went like for a couple months to that one. But ever since we had like kids and stuff, so basically the last 10 years, I hadn't been doing anything like this. So it's been really nice.
Do you know if that dude from the Globe is still doing it? He was an expat. I don't know from where.
I think that somebody's still doing it.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know.
That was a lot of fun. There was, I don't think there's anything that. No, I take this back, and I'll tell you. These quiz games are like so much fun, but they make me feel either super smart or really stupid. And I feel the same way with escape rooms, except for I just feel dumb at escape rooms. I suck at escape rooms.
Man, we love escape rooms.
I know you do. And I would not want to be in one with you because like I would just be on your back and you'd be carrying me through the whole way. Anyway, what's your second joy? I didn't mean to cut you off.
My other joy is that my horror show has been back on, and I've like caught up. I had a whole season that I was behind, and I didn't realize it. And it's called From. That's the whole name of it. Is just From, and it's sort of like Lost, but the island is hell. Sort of.
Okay, well, don't spoil it because I might watch it. Is it just pure horror?
No, it's really a lot like Lost. It's like people wind up in this weird place and weird shit's going on, but there's horror in it.
Okay.
And I have really enjoyed it. And it's in the middle of its fourth season, so I'm getting like one episode a week now and just really drawing it out. And I had had a kick of horror sometime last year where I did a whole bunch. And then I just stopped. I was like, okay, I've purged it from my system. And it sort of, I haven't been like watching a ton, but like I watched a couple horror movies and I've just been kind of enjoying that genre again. Like, and it's real fun. I hope they land the plane. Cause
yeah,
like Lost was like real fun. And then the later season kind of was like, why?
Well, they didn't have a plan for it. Yeah. I don't think they realized how successful it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, I always call it the X-Files problem where it's just like, we're going to do all these tantalizing loose ends that are fun, but we don't really have any kind of plan for resolving any one of these episodes ever.
Right. Yeah, I was satisfied with the end of Lost, but like I understand and I recognize the loose ends, but I understand why people were upset about it.
What are your joys? I can't wait.
My joys are three, and so the first one. I rarely get complimented by anybody, and almost never by men. And I had a patient.
What are you talking about? Beautiful.
Yeah, except for you, sweetheart. You're the best. But I had a patient. He's an old guy, almost 80, I'd say. And it was quite a drive to the hospital, and so we were chit chatting the whole way. And by the time we got there, he asked me if I was married. And I knew he had a wife, and he was significantly older than me, so I knew he wasn't asking for himself. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm married." And he was like, "Oh shucks," and he snapped his fingers and like darn, thinking like a missed opportunity. I'm like, "Oh, does he get a pretty daughter or what?" And he's like, "Oh, she's beautiful." And he was going on and on about his beautiful daughter. And
that's cute.
Yeah, I was like, "Man, that is so nice." I don't think that I've ever had a man interested in me meeting his daughter before, and this guy did. So I was not going to bring it up because it's kind of like
braggadocious,
but it's just been on my mind. I'm like, that made me feel really good, and I'm going to chalk that up as a joy. So that's one joy. Another one is I'm still reading Lonesome Dove. I was reading a sample the whole time. It's such a thick book that the sample was going on and on and on. And I committed. I bought the rest of the ebook, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like, yeah, it's good stuff. He's such an amazing developer of characters that I'm invested in all of them. It's funny. It's for a Western, it takes place in like the 1870s, I think. But you can still relate to all the characters, and yeah, it's a good book. And lastly, I've started to work on a gift for Jody. Another like Christmas sort of thing. I wish I could have done it sooner because it would have been a great anniversary gift, but I'm not going to say it on air because I doubt she'll listen to this, but if she does, it'll be spoiled. But yeah, dude, it's like, it's digital and it'll be not digital eventually. And all I want to do is work on it, man. It's so much fun to do. And yeah, it's bringing me a joy. It's cutting into like my other hobbies. I'm like, no, I need to like spread this out, but it's so much fun. So yeah, those are my joys. Minor, but pleasant and making me happy. So tell us your joys. If you've got any joys, email them to us, put them on Facebook. Also tell us your green flags too. I always forget to add that, but send it to us, Instagram, Facebook, email, and we'll have a look-see. Got anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good too.
All right.
My brain is, dude, it's the nachos, dude. It's nachos that fucking, I have like sour cream and guac. It just filling all the creases of my brain right now. And it's like, it affects me.
Thanks for joining us. New podcasts every Wednesday. And if any part of this show has resonated with you, let us know at outsidethemanosphere@gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Please like, rate, subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel, or recommend us to a friend. Hasta la pasta.
Mission accomplished. I kind of have the same problem, but I had nachos last night, and that's kind of like beer for me. We just gorged on nachos, and I woke up feeling hungover.
We're going to have a nacho intervention.
Dude, yes, something has to change because
I don't think it's a problem, but you clearly feel like it's a problem.
I need help, Skip. It is a problem, dude. We eat nachos like fucking 3 times a week now, and it's like, I mean, we eat nachos when I say, it's a lot.
It's nacho problem.
It's not your problem. It's my problem.